We're going live, by the way, guys.
I'm unusually pissed at this.
We're live now, guys. Hey, how you doing, everybody? It's your lads. It's your lads. And with me is, well, a man who has probably been a guest the most on our podcast, our fair little podcast, and that is Mr. Chossis. How you doing?
Clossington, thank you very much.
Clossington, Chossis, whatever it is.
Yes.
I just call you
How
Chossis.
about we just call you Santa Claus?
Santa Claus.
Bruh, that's like
Chossis
it's
Claus.
like kindergarten level like insult. Like
It wasn't an insult. It was a pun.
Aren't puns
No.
supposed to be funny?
I know.
yeah, I mean
No, I don't think anybody has ever
speak
been
for
like,
yourself, but
And then below him is, why are you gay? Mr. Alcazar.
Hello.
Why are you
I
gay?
just got the notification that you went live. I'm gonna watch your stream.
And then we have Chicago. How you doing?
Doing all right.
Now, this is even more of kind of a fluid kind of improvisational podcast than usual because it's been a completely slow week with nothing really happening. And
Except for New Hampshire.
except for New Hampshire and a few other things, but I'm making videos on them, so it would be weird to stream about them before I've even edited the videos. I actually recorded 3 videos this week, but I just couldn't get time to edit them, unfortunately. But they will be out this week and next week, anyway. So, Alcazar has a little rant about TMZ that he wants to get off his chest. So go ahead, take the floor.
So basically, so yesterday, during Valentine's Day, instead of having a significant other that I can spend time with, I worked in my, food service job busting tables and shit. And after I came home, my parents left the news on, and TMZ was on, so I was like, I wonder if TMZ is still trash. So I sat and watched it.
as if that was a question.
Yeah. It was still trash. It was still complete trash, and I was mad. Because, since it was Valentine's Day or whatever, they had, they do what they usually do and just accost random celebrities trying to go about their day. And one of them was like, oh, what are you guys doing for Valentine's Day? That was a question. It's as if you have a fucking right to ask that.
And it's pretty obvious what they're doing in many cases as well. We're hanging out.
Yeah, they said, oh, we're not doing anything special because it's they're fucking celebrities. What can they do to impress each other? They're both fabulously wealthy.
I don't know, same as anybody else, just more expensive.
Yes, maybe even that, or just fucking, I don't know, spend time together, watch, I don't know, a movie, stay in. The reason it really annoyed me is because, TMZ for years has just done the scummiest shit to, make a quick buck, as with any media organization. But honestly, when we, criticize the news media for it, they're not even... CNN is even the worst. To me, it's TMZ, in my opinion.
So,
It was recently reaffirmed.
So, you were talking about how they just accost celebrities, right, in person?
Yeah, because it's because a lot of times, but we often forget that, the people we admire, we watch, they're human on the other side of this.
Yeah, but I was going to ask, was it them that harassed Tarantino? You know, that famous clip where he knocks the camera out of the guy's hands? Is that TMZ, or is that a random guy?
Might have been him.
Would you mean the guy who was accosting them on Valentine's Day? He's been working that long.
TMZ reporter. I could honestly very well see that being them.
Because Tarantino just walks out of a building. I assume it's a coffee shop or something, like Starbucks or something. He just has a coffee. He's probably walking to his car or something, just just going about his day. And then this guy just walks up to him, starts harassing him.
And the thing is, it's
And
not
he
even
gets
that
angry.
they're inherently talking about celebrity news.
Mhm.
It's just that there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to do it in a proper manner, don't accost people. Contact them for statements, and every once in a while, host a.
How did they know he was there? How did they always know that these people are here, are there where they are? Even before social media blew up, they always seemed to know where people were, which I found
It's
weird.
not even that. It's just I think what they actually do. I think they just walk around LA hoping to find someone.
Which
I think
you
that's
are going
actually
to
what
find
they
them,
do.
yeah.
But sometimes they'll probably hunt people down.
And
But I think most of the time they just walk around. If they see somebody, they'll be like,
probably use the yellow pages or something just to say, okay, so where's this person? Is this the right person? Yes, is this the right person? They're living in the same area as all these other famous people. Then they go over there and start taking pictures of them.
Most of them live in gated communities. It's just that what they do is so they'll go to a area, so they'll go to an courtyard or a plaza or a mall, in hopes they find somebody. I think that's mostly what they do.
See, that was professional that I just did, but I bet you didn't hear what I was doing. I was sneezing, and rather than ruin the stream with my sneezing, I muted myself.
We're professionals here.
We are
That
professionals.
was a subtle jab at Chicago, and I liked it
Who says it was a jab at him?
because he sneezed earlier really loudly when he first entered the group chat. I mean, the call.
I don't remember him sneezing.
Somebody sneezed.
Maybe it
I
was
think
me.
that was you.
No, I didn't sneeze.
Nobody sneezed. So
I heard a giant, big ass motherfucking sneeze.
so how
I think
would
you're
you?
just going crazy.
So Alkasai, if you were in charge of TMZ, right, or TMZ, really, whatever, how would you go about fixing it, or would you just destroy it and make sure it can never?
I would just probably destroy it.
You
Like
would.
if I were to ever like tasked for forming an organization, it would really depend if I think it could be saved. But like, it's just TMZ's model is fundamentally flawed. It would probably just be better.
See, the thing is, like the British tabloids have been doing that for years. Like that's what
So
they
have
do.
Americans. It's just that TMZ is the most popular of it.
They're all just a
But
bunch of
I honestly have a
sharks.
question: who the fuck watches TMZ?
Uh,
I
Just
don't know
trash.
anybody who watches
Lowest
it on a
common
regular
denominator.
basis.
well, I'm not going to say
Also-
it.
Wait, what'd you say, Clossington?
Like just the lowest common denominator. It's just candy.
Yeah, but like
It's Karen.
even like lowest common denominator. I don't know who watches it because I've never met somebody, or at least knowingly, that is like, oh yeah, I watch it, I love it. I just don't know who. I don't think I've ever met somebody who's like, yeah, I like TMZ. Because even the lowest common denominator people, it's probably like a guilty pleasure. Where
Yeah.
it's like they know what they're watching is complete horrendous stuff, but they just don't care.
Like fair enough.
Yeah, because
Like,
like,
what-
there's a difference.
the-
There's a
the-
difference between watching something and like genuinely liking it. I think.
Like I think these channels or these companies eventually get what's coming to them, like Gawker notoriously did.
Oh yeah, let's harass Harvey on the street.
Yeah,
Let's send him some journalist his way. It's like, hey
Yeah,
Harvey, why you
let's
such a fucking
let's expose a person who's gay to the world when he didn't want to be exposed that he was gay. You know that Republican guy?
TMZ did that?
No, Gawker. Sorry, you mentioned Gawker earlier. You were like the
Yeah.
worst of the
man.
worst.
Gawker.
Dude, who the fuck did Gawker?
It was
exposes?
the guy during 2016 who said he was proud to be gay during one of Trump's rallies. I forgot his name. Let me just look that up. Gawker.
Peter Thiel?
Yeah, I think it was him.
yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't like a family values type who gets exposed. I don't know, but
Well,
he
Teal has a very concealed sort of private life, I guess,
yeah, but
Yeah, he has a
and
very
it
private
was
life.
very inappropriate.
yeah, like in his case, it didn't deserve to be fucking every single time. That bloody
Is that an ice cream truck?
yeah, it's that guy that I tell you about who I think is a drug dealer.
Violent.
He knows when you're streaming.
He
He's
just
doing the lawn con.
oh
and-
my god, it's just been for every day for 4 years. He does that, but there's no kids outside. They've all just been told to go inside. So why does he do that? Does he not know that they're always out at like 3 o'clock or something? As kids are after school, I don't know. But anyway, where was I? Can you tell me what it was? Gawker, yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
said
Like
that.
he wasn't like a
He
lot
was
of
a Christian and had like he was socially conservative, but like
I don't know if he was religious or not, but he wasn't the
yeah,
type
he was.
of
He is. Peter Thiel's a Christian.
but he's not like not Ted Bundy. That's the Ted Haggart. You know, he was exposed because he was a hypocrite. You know, he was going on about how these people are the devil and things like that. And next thing you know, I mean, probably strawmanning him a bit there, but you know, he was against it. Yet it turns out that he had, you know, affairs with, you know, male prostitutes and things like that. I mean, oh, thank you. Sorry. But with Peter Thiel, there was nothing like that. Like he never really, as far as I've known about him, he never said anything that could be considered hypocritical, and they just cynically exposed him.
Yeah.
In terms of his actual politics,
Hmm.
I know he hung out with Mencius Moldbug a couple times.
Really interesting.
And he's a big fan of sort of neo-reactionary politics.
Yeah. But like I've known
Like
conservative
I don't
gay
think
people.
he
you know.
he's I know he donated to the Ron Paul campaign, and he's a big outspoken sort of libertarian type.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's nothing hypocritical in his actual political philosophy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, something that wouldn't warrant basically being forced out of the closet. I mean, personally, it's none of anybody's business what adults choose to do with other adults that is consensual, in my opinion. So why Gorka? Well, Gorka did it for political reasons, and that and that bit them in the ass. And then there was the Hulk Hogan thing, because Peter Thiel wasn't in a position to take them to court or anything. I don't know if he had the money, but Hulk Hogan did.
I mean,
Oh my
Peter Thiel
God.
is loaded.
Hulk Hogan killed Gawker.
He's
an American
yeah,
hero.
he probably is loaded more now than he was at the time. I don't know why he didn't. Maybe he did sue them at the same time. But you know what's interesting? Gamergate cost them 6 figures in
Nice.
advertising. Yeah, I remember we did was it
Who
Operation?
owns Kotaku now since Gawker's been gone? I don't know. I thought they
Some
would've
company,
gone by the
Spanish
website.
company, I think it was, bought them, something like that.
All right,
but now,
time to go to war with Spain.
well, I don't know if they're Spanish, but there was some company that's quite big. But even Kotaku's, finally collapsing. But like, I remember during the beginning of Gamergate, there was like loads of operations. So there's Operation Disrespectful Nod. There was one operation to network with as many fellow Gamergaters as possible. That's why I follow so many people.
How many people do you follow on Twitter?
A couple hundred, but
Oh, I follow 600.
yeah, but they also follow me back, a lot of them, because of that. But so it's hard to unfollow people, and I feel bad. But anyway, one of them was contacting and emailing advertisers about the scummy practices that Gorka does, and Kotaku and all the others, and it cost Gorka 6 figures. So there you go. Obviously, I think a lot of those companies that survived have since probably managed to claim some of that money back just by being a bit more subtle in how evil they are. But
Yeah.
I was surprised that we'd actually managed to do that. I was really proud.
Also, I want to do a reminder that
Mhm.
TMZ broke the story of Kobe Bryant's death before, like, even the police did.
Wow,
So his family had to find
Nice.
out, like, TMZ and other media organizations.
that's just scummy.
Instead of, like, police.
That's scummy.
That also really ticked me off.
Jim Jesus
And not
says
just me, but a lot of people.
apparently some people did hear a sneeze. Jesus Christ, I must be going deaf. Jim Jesus said it.
No. It was the sneeze was before the stream.
Oh right, was it? God damn it, Jim. Mitch has Winnie the Flu.
Winnie the.
People is one hell of a drug.
Well, to be fair, it's my allergies to if you can hear me sniffling. So what does King Piccolo Daimao, who is, for those who don't know, Makuta Pterodax, the arm warmers got a few days ago, wonders for your bad circulation. Oh dear. I feel so sorry for you. So anyway, New Hampshire happened.
Bernie won, yeah. Hold on,
By,
let
like,
me,
what,
let
a
me
single
pull up the
percentage
results.
point?
He has the same number of delegates as Pete, but he won the popular vote count.
Yeah.
Can't even fucking
Bernie
win New
Sanders won
Hampshire.
9, Pete
He's
won,
out
but,
of-
Bernie
out of
won
the
the
race.
popular vote by 1.3%.
So it's like 4,000 votes.
And Klobuchar got 6 votes.
Yeah, can somebody explain to me
Or
how
delegates.
this
6
works?
delegates.
How does this
I
work? Like,
All right,
Okay,
so
you have to get each state has different thresholds, but like you have to reach like if it's a primary, you have to reach like a certain percentage of the vote to get a delegate.
no, I mean I understand that, but
So
how
you
do you
mean, like,
become the front runner through going to all these places? Like, how do they add up all the wins? I'm so confused.
So the weight of each state in a primary is determined by the number of Democrats in the state.
In
order to sort of weight out, like, in order to sort of weight the candidates and to not ensure that this is like a winner take all sort of system, there's sort of delegates who represent the most popular candidates. These delegates are sort of like a front line, like a backup switch in case someone too extreme hijacks
Mhm.
party. It's not something like that. Like your delegates are supposed to remain faithful to whoever won, but there are certain times when people go rogue.
Mm-hmm.
But if no consensus is really won out and no one candidate can get a majority of the delegates, the delegates can the delegates have a convention and multiple rounds at the national convention, which is usually an absolute shit show. When like, and it gets very Machiavellian. Like there are like police in the streets and riots usually when these sorts of things happen.
Oh yeah, I think this year's probably gonna be a brokered convention, and we're gonna see fucking riots in Milwaukee. That's gonna put 1968 Chicago to fucking shame.
Yeah, that's saying a lot, but
I still think it's very
usually an
possible.
absolute shit show. Like what are the odds that like Hillary Clinton just shows up out of nowhere, or Bloomberg just buys out every single delegate? It's like I don't know.
Or kills the
I don't
ones she
know
doesn't
what
want
the odds
around. Allegedly.
Also, I hate seeing so many Michael Bloomberg ads.
Yes, and Tom Steyer.
I don't
Like,
get
I
many
actually-
Tom Steyer
Tom
ads.
Star doesn't have any ads here anymore. I think
Well,
he's
you're in
already
a blue
given
state.
up.
Like you're not in a swing state.
Oh yeah, true.
Thing is,
Well,
I
but we
think
still get
he's
so many
probably- I'm
Bloomberg
not
ads
an
here.
early state. He's probably shifting focus to just early states like Nevada and South Carolina.
By the way, Alcasai, I saw
Yeah.
that you stopped supporting Bernie, didn't you?
Huh?
Didn't you stop supporting
Very
Bernie?
blue-pilled.
Oh, I never supported Bernie.
Oh, you never? Sorry, I thought you did. I thought you said you would have
No,
voted
why would
for
I
him
support
or.
Bernie?
Oh, I don't know, but maybe that was somebody else I was thinking of. But like
Oh no, I never stopped. Okay, all right, you probably saw that.
the tweet, yeah, yeah.
Okay, basically, a bunch of since Andrew Yang dropped out and he was my main guy, a
Mhm.
bunch of Bernie Sanders people were like, "Yeah, join the Bernie Sanders camp," and I was like, "No, you smeared Andrew Yang as a libertarian Trojan horse for 5 months." It called him every name in the book.
Yeah, despite the fact all the libertarians saying he's not one of us.
The white nationalist alt-right candidate. You fucking called
us
him a libertarian Trojan horse. You accused him of wanting to gut the nation's social welfare system, even though he didn't. So
As a
you don't deserve my
libertarian.
vote. Yes, a lot of Bernie people, a lot of communists think he's actually a libertarian Trojan horse because of his universal basic income policy. I am not joking.
Which does make sense because I only know of one vaguely libertarian person who was open to the idea, and that was thingy Friedman.
Yep.
Not his son, Friedman Senior, obviously, but I wouldn't say Hayek because I've not read him say that was.
Hayek
Friedman
was in
is
favor of welfare.
somewhat in
He
favor.
wasn't in favor of it. I've read the book where that
Yeah,
came out. Like Hayek was not
Hayek
in
said
favor.
that
He just
welfare
was
would
pragmatic.
exist.
Yeah.
Hayek said that welfare would have to exist, but I think in his way, he would prefer it to be basic income than, your average welfare.
Well, from what I got from the Constitution of Liberty, he was like, well, it's been enacted, it's going to be hard to get rid of. It's pragmatically, we're going to have to deal with it. It seemed like something he didn't really want
And
around.
The thing is, Andrew Yang did not want to undercut social spending, because he was in favor of
So he wanted basic income and welfare? Because you can only have one.
Let me explain this. If you qualify, assuming you qualify for welfare benefits, you either choose universal basic income or welfare. You do not get both.
But I thought he said that every citizen gets 1,000, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, that's just easier to explain than, oh, but if you want to keep your welfare benefits, you have to forgo the $1,000. He's explained that on numerous occasions. It's just way easier to just say, oh, $1,000 for everybody than have to.
I think that was a
Put that little
terrible
asterisk.
rhetorical device there, but because it's not very universal if you have to choose between your welfare check or the $1,000.
Well, you can't have fucking both.
I know you can't, but the way he marketed it, I guess you could say, towards the Democratic base and the American people, I guess, as well as a whole, didn't seem to work in his favor because that's created this kind of confusion.
Oh, also, a lot of people didn't like Andrew Yang because he wasn't in favor of a wealth tax. He thought it wouldn't work. That was another reason why they hated him.
He wasn't a Trojan also. Like, how many libertarians have entered the Democratic Party? Zero.
There's a few libertarians who like Yang, but there's not that many.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not really libertarians, they're more classical liberal.
Well, social.
Yeah.
If you want
I
to
mean,
go.
you'll see a lot more
few
clout
libertarians
around,
and some Andrew Yang groups who just, despite despite his every policy, you're just really one of those few libertarians who really gung ho about universal basic income for whatever reason. But there's not that many of those.
What about Tulsi Gabbard? like she went on to the Ron Paul Liberty Report podcast, I think a couple days ago, a week ago, or something like that. Like, she seems to have some clout within the libertarian community.
She does.
Although her anti-gun stance would,
and which is beyond me. I don't know why.
yeah, I mean she's a bloody serving.
I mean, the only libertarians that are like her are probably like anti-war libertarians.
Yeah.
So like
But,
single
like-
issue.
Which is weird because she's still an acting serviceman. So
And she's still in favor of like continuing intervention in Syria and all that. So
I mean, which is fine. I'm not really anti-war. I'm in favor of intervention. It just has to meet certain criteria for me. Because I used to flat out say, "Oh, I'm anti-intervention," but then I looked at the Rwandan genocide. And I was like, "Oh, we could have easily stopped that," and then rethought
the
my
UN
position.
stop people from intervening. I think
I
there
know,
was some
it was
weird
nice.
bullshit behind that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the Liberal Sanity Project made I saw his video on the Rwanda genocide. I was already like in favor. I was already like questioning my stance on anti-intervention before that, but that video solidified that. I think I'm just gonna view military interventions on a case-by-case basis.
That's really the
Yeah, sure.
way. That's a pretty good idea, I would say.
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, we could have the U.S. and the West, but mainly the U.S., France, and Belgium could have easily just fucking stopped the Rwanda genocide. It's just they didn't because of stupid bureaucratic shit.
Well, then also, I frankly don't even think we cared that much.
No, we didn't really care. It's a shame, really, because like, it was such a preventable thing. But you know.
Yeah.
And I know a Rwandan genocide survivor who was one of the few Rwandans become refugees in the U.S. But his story is interesting. I might tell it one day, but he likes to remain private, so I probably won't tell it.
But
All right.
yeah.
I just think that Gabbard should just drop out. She's got like 3%.
Should.
It's 3%. Fucking Klobuchar is ahead of her. I mean, I don't know who Klobuchar really is, but I assume she's not as good as Mommy. So
Tulsi Gabbard's doing it for clout.
yeah, like just
Yeah.
get out of there, right? You know, you've
Book deals.
claimed, yeah, you got your scalps in like Kamala Harris and all that. Just
She
leave.
got her clout, which honestly, if running for president for clout to eventually build like a base of support over time to eventually become president down the line is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just at some point, if that's your goal, just stop. And Tulsi Gabbard, if that is her goal, she should just stop right
I mean,
now.
Yang bowed out, and I thought he wouldn't. To be honest, I thought he would go right to the wire.
I thought he would too, but he said, I don't feel comfortable taking donations if I know my campaign's going to tank," which was very honorable of him, I think. Because like he's going to run for president in 2024, and there's a few people who speculate he might New York City mayor because Bill de Blasio's term's coming up soon.
Neat.
Also, fuck
Like,
Bill de Blasio.
Speaking of dropping out, Biden, like if he does not
he should
good,
he should drop
well,
out now.
No, I think he still has hope in sweeping during Super
in South
Tuesday
Carolina.
and in the South. I guess he's really
Yeah.
betting on the South, and so is Bloomberg.
I don't think the South will like Bloomberg.
No,
He seems
Well,
like too much of a
Bloomberg
yank
is
for them.
investing in Nevada.
Yeah, Bloomberg is such like a cosmopolitan elitist, you know. I don't think the South is going to take too kindly to that. And Joe Biden isn't real. He has a much more humble background.
Which yeah,
With,
and he was a veteran.
breaking up
yeah.
gang activity with Corn Pop or whatever his name was.
Also, I'm thinking of somebody else. I just
All
called
Black
Joe.
Charlie.
Was Joe Biden in the army? Because I accidentally called him a veteran. Then
I think he was.
was he? I'm just gonna double check that now
I think so.
because I got him confused with the Republican guy who died, McCain. So I'm like, shit. I don't want to. Don't want to confuse the two. I mean, they look alike, so
No, he wasn't a veteran.
no.
Wikipedia doesn't say anything about his
Yeah.
service.
Thank you for your disservice. He got a deferment during the Vietnam War,
Also,
though.
He pulled a Trump.
Yeah, he did. Which is ironic because the Democrats go on about him. It's like So many of your
I think Joe
politicians are
Biden
the
could
same
do
thing.
very well in the South, especially where there's high areas of Catholic population, like Texas and Louisiana, because Joe Biden's a Catholic himself. Not a very
Just
good
not
one,
a good
but
one.
yeah, he's
Jinx.
Yeah, same thing with a
Pelosi.
senator from my state.
Pelosi is a terrible, terrible Catholic.
I love what she was like questioned by a reporter. She's like, "I'm Catholic. We don't hate anyone except for unborn children."
And the witches.
Like,
and apparently so many
Catholic-
fucking people.
like,
Bloody papists.
self-flagellation. Like Catholicism is just.
I'm sorry, God, that I'm guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
So
We have
anyway,
30 minutes left. What are we talking about?
well, I was going to mention Liberty Hangout because we
Oh,
were
yeah,
discussing
talk
that,
about
weren't
her.
we? Oh, British Knight
Liberty
though.
Hangout.
What is British Knight want?
He's saying that Tulsi's a discount Bernie, and the amount of libertarians drooling over her anti-war stand for is stupid. I mean, I can understand being anti-war. I do get it. Like, you know, a lot of my family are pacifists and things like that. I mean, I'm mostly anti-war.
Pacifism is
you know.
such a stupid ideology.
I'm not a
sorry.
I'm not a pacifist.
I know, but I
Hang on,
know
let me
one in real
finish.
life.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm anti-war in most cases, unless it's justified. So, you know, helping out an ally.
Would you have intervened in the Rwandan genocide to go back to that point?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, obviously.
Okay.
If that means creating, you know, barriers to prevent them from killing other people, you know, temporarily until things can be fixed. But how do you? I don't know. Like in many ways, though, if it hadn't happened, maybe they wouldn't have took stock and realised, hang on, we can't go on like this, killing each other. Because it seemed like after that massacre that happened, during the couple, however long it lasted, Rwanda kind of
100 days.
Yeah, 100 days. They realised what the hell are we doing, and now look where it is. So, you know, it's doing better now. So maybe sometimes I'm not justifying it at all. Please don't cherry pick me. Sometimes the bad needs to happen for good to, you know. But that's more of a time travel thing, isn't it? I guess than in hindsight than. So, but yeah, I would have been at the time. If I was alive then, and I was a politician or a general, I would have, and I was allowed to intervene. I would have intervened, obviously. And if a people are crying out for help, you know, like Hong Kong or something, and it had to go to war to save them, yeah, I would. I'd risk it. So.
God, I know a pacifist is a coworker of mine is a pacifist.
Also, Black Lord of Fenrir, who's an old friend of the channel, good YouTuber by the way. Check him out. He says, "Do you consider guaranteed minimum income distinct from minimum wage?" So I'll leave that to you
Yes.
guys, because I don't
do.
really. I would assume it's different. So
universal basic income is very different from a minimum wage, because you're not putting the stress of providing the money on the business owner.
Well, you kind of are, but through taxes instead.
It's just
Yeah,
more
I guess to a certain
distributed.
extent, but it also depends on what you're taxing and how you're taxing it. Because, like, I mean, if you fund a universal basic income tax, or like a tax on, like, I don't know, financial transactions, or like capital gains taxes, that's probably not going to affect your average That's going to affect your average restaurant owner way less than
but here's the thing.
Wage.
Here's the thing, though. All taxes always lower the amount of spending money that consumers have, and that means that they would be spending less money overall to go and be able to still save up enough money for basic living and being able to retire. So that means that in a roundabout way, all taxes do still affect business owners, because that means that they have less overall revenue.
Yeah, but
because
like
there's less spending.
But I think like a direct hike to minimum wage is going to affect them way more than a tax on capital gains or something. Would you at least accept that?
The short-term effects would be more. The long-term effects would be the exact same.
Well, I'm talking about the individual business owner, not on the economy as a whole.
The individual business owners are the things that affect the economy as a whole.
Okay, fair enough.
With this universal basic, what did you call it? Like universal basic.
Income, guaranteed minimum income. It goes by a lot of different names.
Yes. Like I specifically have a problem with integrating the businesses, the state, and the people, just chaining them all together to an economic system that must perpetually take care of its citizens, or like a fully integrated system in which everything is merged.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just
Yeah.
like as like a very very ANCAP leaning kind of dude, I just can't abide.
Is a spicy comment from British Knight. By libertarian standards, ending slavery was bad because it was interventionist and infringed on property rights. The West Africa Squadron wants to know your location. Laughs in classical liberal.
The Civil War did effectively end state sovereignty and establish the federal government as perpetually dominant.
Well,
he's
talking more about British anti-slavery than the Civil War, but so because it affected people's bottom line. That meant they could no longer just not pay their workers and coerce them. They had to.
For an economy, though. Slavery is shit for an economy.
Yeah.
Fair
anyway,
enough.
we were going to go talk about so-called Liberty Hangouts because
Oh boy.
she likes to call herself that. See, I thought it was a guy at first.
You see, I just called
No,
her
she's-
E-Thoughts number 712.
E-thought. So anyway,
You
this
assigned her a number.
so
Well, it's not going to be number 1 because she's not important enough for that.
So this I found this so I found this tweet that she made through another Hangout Twitter account called Monarchy Hangout, which I assume is what what she thinks she is, right? Monarchy Hangout, whoever this guy is, and he's this is what she said, right? She said, "You are not born gay. It is a choice that has become trendy because it's promoted by the liberal media." And then post that link from sciencenews.org that happened. It came out a while ago that the scientists, as of yet, have found no evidence that there is a single gay gene, which surprisingly at the time was not that controversial. I remember Owen Jones.
I don't know. I found a few genes that look like they're full of cross-dressers. So
very funny. I see what you did there. But Owen Jones of all people.
You got a funny school, though. Such a
he also
funny-
yelled at me while drinking a Starbucks latte and said, "Hey!"
Hey.
when I saw it the first time.
Was it a frappuccino?
Yeah.
Frappuccino, more like
Exactly.
Fagacino.
Oh,
I literally couldn't even pronounce the name of its drink.
Frappuccino.
Fappuccino.
Frappuccino. I don't want to know what that's made of.
You really don't.
So
Instead of whipped cream on top, it's cum.
So people even Owen Jones, right, was not against this data. He was like, oh well, it turns out there's no gene as of yet. Oh well. He definitely wasn't criticizing it. I remember that. Loads of people were kind of accepting, surprisingly, from what I remember.
Because I remember when I found the libtard gene too.
The libtard gene. Well,
No, I've been infected.
well, some people reckon that your political ideas are probably influenced by your genes, but that's a different argument. But
You're talking about like the spiteful mute.
Potentially, I don't know. I've just heard a few things, but anyway, I think she's getting this confused. Now, I think there is some people who pretend to be bi or gay or whatever, but I don't think that's anywhere near as prevalent as she thinks. I think she's confusing them with what we would call trans trenders, which is people who pretend to be trans for the clout, which they do exist, and they do make things.
People.
Yeah, and they make things worse for actual trans people. You know.
God.
And
But what's wrong with stoning trans people?
Oh, my favorite one.
It violates the NAP, Chas.
Pansexuals
do
do
that.
not exist. I'm just gonna say this right now. Pansexuals do not fucking exist, and you cannot change my mind.
Imagine having sex with pots and pans.
now, apparently,
Fucking weirdos.
Curvy.
according to Monarchy Hangout, they didn't even. She didn't even. He thinks it's a he, but it's a she, as we know. But she didn't even read the article. I think she just read the headline, because in the sub heading.
The article had way too big words.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. She
Too
couldn't.
big brain.
She
Didn't have
couldn't.
enough pictures.
And she couldn't interview students and call them immoral for expressing apathy. So here we are. So instead, a combo of small genetic factors and environmental influences affects partner choice. So there is a genetic component, but they're small factors, and it seems to be mostly environment, says Science News. So she's not read it. She thinks it's entirely environmental. People choose. Now I think bi people can choose. I think really they're the only people who can, to live that particular. I don't want to call it a lifestyle because being gay is not really a lifestyle, really. But they can choose to have but it's a subculture. But that doesn't mean that being gay is a lifestyle. The sexuality isn't your lifestyle. It's the culture, the subculture that you're a part of that is your lifestyle. And even then, it depends. What kind of subculture of that are you part of as well? But I don't know. Maybe that's super pedantic. But yeah, so she's confusing it with that, and thinks it's an entirely human choice when it's actually not. The environmental factors could well set you in stone. You could have these genetic factors, and you could still end up being whatever. But these other environmental factors make you pretty much what you will be when you hit puberty, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. But it's just typical it's just a propaganda outlet, Liberty Hangout. That's what it is. And
how long did it take you to realize this?
I'm not just saying that I've realised this, I'm just saying it is.
Okay, thank God.
That's what it is. I actually think, at first when I saw them when they first went viral a couple months ago, I thought, oh, this is just like a libertarian going down the pipeline. That's what I thought it was.
What pipeline?
The libertarian to alt-right pipeline.
Yeah.
But they're going through the trad phase first, so they've gone down the pipeline and they've ended up as a trad, right? But the more I think about it, the more I just think, no, it's just a tradcon pretending to be an ANCAP.
Yeah.
Because they're called Liberty Hangout, but everything they espouse goes against liberty. And like the one thing that I disliked above all was the when she was going out interviewing those students and calling them immoral, about the trans toilets issue.
My favorite thing about her too?
Yeah.
Every single time she's even the most vaguely threatened, she literally has to go and say that she's concealed carrying, which also just means that she's a little bitch.
She is a bitch, yeah. Like you don't need to tell people.
It's like, whatever, you do nothing, bitch.
I know.
It's like, well, yeah, I'm concealed carrying too. My cock. What you gonna do about it?
But somehow she's had a bit of an influence.
Want to see my one-eyed trouser snake?
Like I've seen people when she was interviewing those people about should we be using the budget or the money whatever to have tampons in the men's toilets, which I don't think would happen anyway because there's actually no demand.
And she needs to go and change her tampon, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, haha, funny period joke.
Like she was
sorry, I just got your ass demonetized.
She was asking them a lot of loaded questions, or at least asking questions she knew the answer to already, if I remember correctly. And then when they were saying, "I don't care, why is this an issue?" Because technically, why the hell is this an issue anyway? I mean, it used to be before that topic flared up because I think that was an SJW thing. I think they were trying to get more power by making that an issue. This is what they do. They create issues that were never an issue into an issue to get more state power. And then she's kind of jumped on that to do the same thing, but from her own angle. And them expressing apathy is apparently bad. When this never used to be an issue for years and years and years, right? It's been legal for people, well, adults anyway, to transition for decades. And nobody ever cared about the toilets issue because I guess it was just assumed as soon as they started transitioning, when the physical when they started physically changing, they would slowly but surely literally transition to the next toilet, right? And that was just generally assumed and there was no issues. And then a couple of years ago, the trans toilets things breaks out and now look, here we are where we are. And people are getting
Liberty Hangout.
Yeah, I feel like people were getting unfairly criticised for being apathetic to the thing because I could see where they were coming from, but you had other people who I think should have known better saying, oh, they're just saying they don't care, but really they're just trying to. Oh, I'm trying not to strawman them. What was it? is it like this? They're using it as a weapon, apathy as a weapon, so that to make you look bad. Like, why do you care? Why do you not care about these things? Why do you care what toilets people use? Don't you care about potential predators and stuff like that? Which I think is only an issue.
I don't think many trans people are just gonna whip out their fucking dick in a minute.
That is an actual. I mean, don't get me wrong. That is an issue. That's
if they're truly trans, the hormones would have killed that.
Well, yeah, but you got to remember this is an issue. This is an issue. It does happen, but I think this only happens because of certain practices that a lot of these universities and companies take in regards to these things. And like just blindly accepting that somebody is a thing, or just allowing anybody to use the toilets and not taking adequate safety precautions, I think it is.
Yeah.
So and this falls right into the hands of bloody subversives like Liberty Hangout. So like, being gay is a choice? No, I mean it's not a choice unless you're bi. That is, you can choose to live a gay life. I guess it sounds wrong, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of curious. What exactly is the correct anti or counter-revolutionary culture war sort of approach?
I don't know. It depends on the person, doesn't it? Because there's
no. I mean, like, you have cringe like Liberty Hangout doing whatever she does, but how exactly do you take down sort of the critical theory types? Who? Oh
God, I kind of do it naturally, so it's like. It's come naturally over the years.
Dude, I don't even know what the fuck critical theory is.
Critical theory is just a fancy word for postmodern Marxist analysis. It's deconstruction, all that other stuff. Yeah.
Wait, postmodern? That's a two contradictory statement. You can't be a postmodernist and a Marxist.
Yeah, you can. All the postmodernists
were. You talk about postmodernists were against a meta narratives. Marxism is a meta narrative.
Yeah, but a lot of them were still Marxists.
Okay.
Like Foucault and Foucault was notoriously part of the Communist Party.
He was a Maoist,
as was
for a while.
Yeah. And as was what's his name?
Deleuze.
Derrida.
Oh,
Derrida, yeah, he was. He even said it was a certain Marxism. So.
But a lot of these, especially more recent, like 80s and 90s postmodernists, like I'm pretty sure like they get very, very black-pilled. Especially like Baudrillard notoriously proclaimed that the heat death of the universe was more likely to happen than the establishment of full socialist communism.
We also have
good. That's a good thing.
But I don't want the heat death of the universe.
But that's going to happen anyway as we reach entropy, right?
Unless we colonize up the planet.
Anyway, the heat death of the universe is the heat death of the universe.
Oh, I thought you meant the heat death of our solar system.
I mean, we could find a new universe. I mean, they've never said that's not impossible to travel through a wormhole if such a thing exists. But we got a super chat.
Just have to see if physics is okay.
Hey, we got physics. You alright? Can we do this, bro? Yeah, don't worry, bro. I got you.
Well, we got a super chat from British Knight. And he says, pansexual is bisexual with DLC. Changed my mind. Hashtag Boosie Gang.
Pansexuality are bisexual people who want to feel special. That is all they are.
Well, the way I've seen it is it's bisexual people who like transsexuals, right? That's what it is.
No, they're just bi people who want to feel extra special.
I don't know. I mean,
despite the fact they have twice the dating pool, but whatever.
Or thrice if you include, trans people. I mean, then I don't even know why. I've always wondered why they're part of. I know why, but why they were part of this whole LGB thing. They're not a sexuality. It's something completely different. You have straight trans.
Bisexuality is trans people.
Trans, yeah. Well, even bis, considering how discriminated against you are. Why bother being part of that? I just don't understand. But
rightful mutants. Yeah. And the outsiders trying to claw their way in.
But like the trans thing is completely separate to me than issues that bisexuals, gays, and lesbians have. I
propose that we switch out to be an LGBT for Belgium.
Belgium,
the world's most oppressed minority.
Well, the Congolese would disagree, but
gamers, LGBT.
But no. But when you think about it, why are they there? That you get straight people,
lesbians, Belgium, gamers, and trans people.
This is the new LGBT community.
But here's the thing: why is it a thing? Like, you have straight people who are trans, and you have lesbians who are trans. You have gay people who are trans. You have bi people who are trans. That's not a sexuality, is it?
It's
not.
Like, they saw like a back in the day or whatever. They saw like, hey, we're kind of like weird fucking outcast. We could ally with each other.
I mean, they were adjacent to each other, I guess.
You
Yeah,
go
so I
full
guess it's
Israeli
like-
and give them their own ethno state.
Yeah, dude, gay
The
ethno
trans
state when?
ethno state.
That still doesn't make sense to
Dude.
me.
Gay ethno state when?
KF, no, it's not an ethnicity though. It'd be a sexual state, sexo state. I don't know.
Sex no
Six or
state.
state.
Sex.
I mean, it'll last like 60 years and then everyone dies of old age. So.
No, what you could do is everybody could like the gay men could donate their sperm or whatever, so like the lesbians can get pregnant or whatever, or they could just swirl.
What? Swirl?
Swirl.
It's when like a fucking like a gay dude or a lesbian like fucks a straight person so they can have a child.
Oh yeah, Black Lord was mentioning that.
It's like basically what cucking yourself so you can have a child.
I don't see how that would work, but
Yeah.
anyway, apparently I don't know where this was in was I don't know where this fits in with the conversation, but Fenrir was referencing an old True Dilton video about the soy face thing. I don't think he was actually saying there was a literal difference between facial appearances between leftists and right wingers. It was just, for whatever reason, the soy face is more prevalent with lefties than it is with righties. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think it was a genetic thing he was going on about. It was more like a cultural thing, maybe, because a lot of these guys are more. Usually, you would say the stereotype is they're more submissive, a bit more beta, and the soy face apparently has like an animal kingdom component to it. There's like a chimps do it too, and it's meant to show
Submission or something
submission
like
to
that.
the alpha or something. But I think with human beings, it's more complicated than that.
Human being.
I mean, you've got people like
Come on.
you've got people like
it-
yeah. Sorry, I'll finish. But you got people like the guy who did No Man's Sky. He has a kind of soy face, but nobody knows what his politics are. He just does silly faces, you know.
Yeah.
How many of them are actually genuinely being submissive, or just thinking they're being silly? You know, that's what
think
I've always
most of them are
wondered.
Silly.
I would wager most of them are being silly as well.
It's really this weird soy face meme is so cringy.
I mean, there's
It's
something
true,
to
though.
it. Yeah, there is something to it.
There is, but it's just I don't know. I just don't give that much of a fuck.
So
Again, I'm apathetic as all hell.
so what did you say? What did you want to say, Classington? Then
what was the topic?
soy.
It was,
Well, we just got into soy face, didn't we?
soy face.
Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be some sort of like. I think it has something to do with demasculation
Mm-hmm.
and it's sort of just undermining what it means to actually be masculine.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
it's easier to like feminize a man than to masculinize or like to make a woman more macho, I guess.
yeah. It seems to be well. It's easier in the long term, I would say. But then again, I would say that women have been more masculinized in a way. You know, with
Like
the
in terms of temperament, I don't think so. In
maybe
terms
not.
of what they actually do, like in terms of like their actual role.
I mean, it's all about trying to destroy the patriarchy, isn't it? That's what it is.
Yes, but is there an actual argument in favor of more patriarchal institutions,
Well, I don't know if they ever really existed.
other than the fact that they're like patriarchal institutions are inherently like pro-natalists and much more, I guess, organic?
Well, the way I
Then-
see human history, it's not one side dominating the other. It's more a symbiotic relationship. That's how I see it, and
Yeah.
that could manifest in a top heavy society. So you'd have. I mean, the most obvious example historically is the difference between Athens and Sparta. Athens, today would be considered Tradcon paradise, and Sparta would be a more libertarian paradise. Maybe the SJWs would prefer to live in Sparta, despite it being a militarist hellhole. But mate, everybody
because
could.
Sparta is also basically run by women, so
I wouldn't say it was run by women, but
it was pretty matriarchal, actually.
it was that's the example of it being symbiotic in the more 50-50 sense, because they had kings, they didn't have queens, but everybody had freedom, so they could, because the idea was if more people have freedom to own property and work out and stuff, we would have more stronger soldiers, basically. So the more freer the woman, the more stronger the woman, the more freer the man, to some extent anyway, the stronger the guy, basically, was their mindset. So it wasn't.
I don't think that's necessarily like libertine.
Well, no, I'm just.
So much
I
as, like,
know I'm using it very. I'm using the term in a very loose sense. I'm just trying to make it make sense to modern people, basically. Because it was a more egalitarian society than Athens was, ironically. And anyway, we got a super chat from King Piccolo Daimo. Tolkien abandoned writing a sequel to LOTR as he got so blackpilled on how Gondor would have gone. It was taken over by an elitist satanic cult.
I think there's
based.
Yes.
I've not read the books. I've got them, but I've not read them yet. So.
Oh, they're great. But yeah, he was gonna have Gondor become like a complete hellhole.
Interesting.
So no, I'm glad that he didn't make a Fourth Age book.
There is a Fourth Age DLC. It's not DLC. It's a mod for
for Total War.
Medieval 2 Total War.
Yeah.
It's
a good mod.
Pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's a very good mod.
I mean, didn't he have lore about the Fourth Age, if I remember correctly?
About the Fifth Age?
Only who becomes king after Aragorn, and that's the entire lore of the Fourth Age.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
everything else is basically
plagues.
when everyone else dies. No, the Fourth Age has absolutely nothing. It's just when everyone dies and who succeeds them.
So I was thinking though recently, right, Chicago, because you want to do a podcast episode on Starship Troopers, right?
Yeah.
At some point.
And you still need to read that part of Starship
that's what we should
Troopers.
do. I think all of us should. I don't know how you're going to get the book. You can get an e-book for cheap on Amazon. You can probably get it for like 99p something, which is 99 cents basically. Well, it's not 99 cents, but it's thereabouts. We should all like set ourselves like a target in the future for this episode. Then we can just read the book, maybe watch the film afterwards. Maybe I don't think it would be necessary though, but it would be useful as maybe another pair of just another thing to compare it to, maybe. And then we could discuss like the ideas in it as well, because I know that Mauler, he did half a bloody episode of at least a quarter of it. I don't know how long they actually talked about it, but they did a response to some guy with Sargon about the Space Marines in Starship Troopers, but I think they were referring to the film because they're a film
Space Marines.
Well, that's what they are. It predates 40k, yeah. But in the book, it's completely different. They actually do look more like you would say 40k Space Marines than they do in the film. Yeah, kind of. I know. But it is more like a suit of armor, isn't it? As opposed to just they look like a grunt.
Yeah, I've never touched Starship Troopers in my life, so it'll be interesting for me if I'll read the book and whatever.
If you got a Kindle, I can check how much it would be for you.
I don't have a Kindle.
Oh, well, let's have a look. Let's see how much it would be in dollars. So I have to go on Amazon.com, don't I, for that? Starship.
Yeah, why the fuck do you guys have .co.uk?
Because it's because of the currency. I found one for $8.
Ooh.
God, that looks like a better quality version than mine. God, my book's not very good quality. I have a thing about good quality paper. If I buy a book,
good quality paper.
But it makes it more pleasurable. You can read it easier. That's what I find. Hillary's more manly than Bernie. Changed my mind. Well, you're not wrong there, my lord. You're not wrong at all. Yeah, they look like guardsmen in I guess, Seal. So anyway, what do you think? Should we set ourselves a target, like, for when that podcast could happen?
Maybe.
I would say in a couple months' time. Maybe we should aim for the summer. Because
I would aim for the summer because I want to be done with school.
I've already got the book. I've not seen the film all the way through, but I'm currently reading John Locke. God, he's boring, by the way. He's really boring. Yeah, Locke, he's really boring. But, well, okay, I need to give you context, guys. My copy is an essay on concerning human understanding, plus the second treatise of government, right? So I'm really reading it to get to the second treatise, but I thought, well, I might as well read the essay as well, because it's got blank slate theory in it and stuff, and he's boring. Like, he goes into detail about minute things I'm not sure is necessary because they seem to be self-evident. It's like, this is what a small idea is. This is this is what perception is, reflection and things like that. I mean, maybe that's just what philosophy was like back then. Very pedantic, going through all the definitions and things and giving your take on it. But it doesn't help that it's early modern English, so his sentence structure is weird. Like, I understand...
What? You egg kills him.
Like, how do I explain? It's like, sentences that are like fucking 8 sentences long with no full stop, just loads of commas and semicolons and colons and things like that. And not only that, the words are arranged in a way which we would not use. So it's basically a bit like Yoda in a way. They used to talk like Yoda back then. How these things work, I know not.
Right to private property, you have.
Basically.
Violating the nap, you have.
Crush my balls with a rock? I must.
Crush my cock with a rock, I must. Maximum pain I must endure.
God.
Even Alka's
right,
eyes going, oh my god.
On that note, I've got to head out.
Alright, see you later, Glossington.
Alright,
See
ya, man.
alright, peace out,
Bruh.
Peace.
bruh.
So yeah, I mean, the essay concerning human understanding is very boring. But I guess it's important for a reason. But I noticed in discussing blank slate theory, he seems to be only talking about ideas, so like political ideas, as opposed to, we're just born completely blank with nothing. He didn't actually say that. He says, obviously there's some things we're born with, but things like, an idea about a certain things like colour and like colours and sights and sounds and things like that, you have to experience that in order to get an idea about it, basically. But then I've thought, well, back then, yeah, blind people you would assume they don't know what people look like or what colours are, but I read an article and blindness isn't darkness. It's actually bright light. That's what a lot of them see. So that's not actually true. They do know what colour is. And from the way they talk about trying to imagine what people look like, I'm not psychic, but I imagine it would be close to what a human being would look like, right? If you can feel the shape of the person, you can get a general idea of what they would look like, right? I don't know, but some of them can use some blind people can use echo. The thing that dolphins use, sonar. They can do that. Human beings can be taught to do that. So then they get an idea of yeah. I've seen the little kid use it on local TV years ago.
Sonar communication on the podcast.
Yeah, you know what he would do? He would go like that, and you'd be able to see it in his head.
I could fucking see your desk in my mind.
I wish I'd looked it up more. Like, how the hell did he learn that? And I've also known, I've read an article by a blind person. He wrote it on a computer.
How can you write when you're blind?
He's legally blind, I know that. But I think he was a Gamergator. I think he was a long time ago. He was definitely legally blind, but somehow But I guess it's Braille, right? Like, how does Stevie Wonder play the piano? He doesn't have Braille on it. He just knows.
Chicago, check general chat.
Oh boy.
Why are we checking general chat?
What is this cursed border with Mexico?
Oh, it's not
Did
that.
you take Rio Grande?
No. That's not that. That's not that. Ignore.
Why
that.
are we discussing this video game?
Oh, I completely forgot we were streaming.
Yes, we're still streaming. Clossington left, but we're still streaming. Yoda content equals quality content. Exactly. It's not called Spergonomics for no reason. It's not Braille.
Yeah, now you see what I'm talking about, Chicago?
Yes, I do. I hate it.
I love it.
Anyway. Oh, okay, OG, you're messing with me. But anyway, I think we've managed to exhaust an empty week's topics. I think we did really well there. Well done, lads. Give yourselves a pat on the back. There you go.
Thanks.
So we're gonna go into last words. Next week we're finally getting Harry-Ann Glader. For those of you who don't know, the new up and coming big YouTuber. He's been
how many subs does he have now?
5,000 nearly. He has been stringing me along. He's been like leading me on, saying, "Don't worry, I can make it." But not now. Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, cock teasing me for weeks, but I finally got him. That's like an ongoing meme between all of us guys. But,
yeah, he cock teases you, but not me. What the fuck is this?
Well, you know, I just have a way with people that you just don't have.
You know what the fuck.
But so last words, Al. Is that meant to be Yoda or something, like hurting himself?
I don't know. Last words, TMZ is shit.
TMZ is shit, or TZ, TMZ. Chicago.
Bloomberg will get what he fucking deserves.
And with that, guys,
The views of the guests of the podcast do not necessarily reflect those of Mitch.
Oh no, step on snack. You just we're about to end it, but you know what? I'll answer your question because it's an interesting question. Are y'all ever going to read Hegel's Philosophy of Right? I have it on my Kindle. I have it on my Kindle, and I will read it at some point.
I don't read.
Yeah, he can't read.
I can't read.
He can't read. He can only discern symbols.
Yeah,
which is not
I can,
reading.
Like, discern symbols and tell you what those symbols say.
Yeah, you're like. I've seen
Scooby-Doo
2 where he goes, "What are these strange symbols?" And then Fred turns it around. It's like words. Ah, words. That's you. I don't know if you've seen the Scooby-Doo films though. Are you too young?
No, it's not that. I just don't like Scooby-Doo that much.
Yeah. So anyway, that's for the rest of you guys. See you later.
Now get out.
Get out.